Michael Davis? No, just a minute. I said you're going to count me down?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and you're off.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori Smith, the Kennebunkport's town manager. Welcome to our weekly public service announcement. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. I appreciate you all taking a few minutes of time to catch up with us on as the town devises a plan to move forward. The first item I want to update you on is elections. The governor moved the primary to July 14th. Our Board of Selectmen met and have also moved our secret ballot election to July 14th and our open town meeting to July 18th. Tracy O'Rourke, our town clerk, has worked with her election official working group to develop a plan for the election. It will require physical distancing, the use of masks, and sanitizing protocols. Some of the challenges will be the proximity required for certain voting practices and the availability of poll workers, as most are older and part of the vulnerable population. We will be promoting absentee balloting and for the primary in order to limit the number of people and the exposure on July 14th. According to the governor's order, we will be limited in the month of July to groups of no larger than 50 people, which makes holding a town meeting difficult. We will continue to monitor the state's guidance as July draws nearer. In terms of the budget, the Selectmen and Budget Committee have been discussing the change in economic conditions and its impact on town revenues. Normally, this time of year, we would have put the budget to bed, but due to the pandemic, that process has been elongated. We are currently working on an amended budget, and the treasurer and I have estimated that we will see close to a $500,000 reduction in the FY21 proposed revenues. Staff, selectmen, and the budget committee members are concerned about inflicting tax increases along with other impacts that residents and businesses are experiencing. With that in mind, the two boards met on Monday evening and voted to recommend a 0% tax rate increase for FY21. This is being accomplished by a reduction in expenditures and an increase in the use of fund balance. RSU 21 continues to review their budget and will be meeting again this coming Monday evening. If you haven't heard, the governor held a press conference yesterday to unveil her 4-stage plan to restart Maine's economy. The Maine CDC will be tracking 3 primary metrics in its evaluation of whether or not to progress through each stage. They will be tracking a downward trajectory of influenza-like illnesses and COVID-like cases, a downward trajectory of documented cases and newly hospitalized patient, and third, the capacity of Maine's hospital systems to treat all patients without crisis care and the ability of the state to engage in a robust testing program. The administration will also continue to evaluate standards outlined in the governor's vision statement, such as testing capacity and contact tracing to inform decisions about proceeding. Businesses will need to work with the Department of Economic and Community Development to ensure that they have safety measures in place and commit to best practices and guidance, and they will be awarded a badge that allows them to reopen. Stage 1 is projected to begin in May, and beginning May 1st, Stage 1 will continue the prohibition on gatherings of more than 10 people, the quarantine of all people entering or returning to Maine for a period of 14 days. It will also newly require that Maine people wear cloth face coverings in public settings where physical distancing measures are difficult to maintain. Guidance on these face masks will be coming out in the next few days. Stage 1 also allows for the limited expansion of certain business, religious, and quality of life activities with appropriate safety precautions. These will include health care providers, personal services, limited drive-in movie theaters, and outdoor recreation with some restrictions. State parklands and auto dealerships and automatic car washes. Stage 2, which is predicted to come through the month of June and will begin on June 1st, contemplates revising the limitation on gatherings from less than 10 people to less than 50 people. It maintains the 14-day quarantine for all people entering or returning to Maine, and with appropriate safety precautions, Stage 2 would allow for some degree of opening with reservations, capacity limits, and other measures for restaurants, fitness and exercise centers, retail stores, lodging in campgrounds, day camps, and coastal state parks. Stage 3, which is anticipated for July and August, contemplates maintaining the prohibition of gatherings of more than 50 people, including the 14-day quarantine. It includes opening of summer camps, hotels and lodging and RV parks, outdoor recreation such as charter boats and excursions, bars, and personal services that include now tattoo parlors and massage facilities. Stage 4 contemplates lifting restrictions and allowing all businesses and activities to resume with appropriate safety precautions, and there is no timeline for Stage 4. So what does this mean when this plan is overlaid on reality? The answer is, I don't know. Life is complicated. Oftentimes we are seeking the simple answers, the black and white response. That isn't possible, and if someone is offering you one, although it might be tempting, the reality is our way back to normal is complicated. Please understand that the governor's plan needs much explanation and guidance. I anticipate that she will be receiving lots of feedback on the plan over the next week. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the plan modified as our understanding of plan impacts and test availability is increased. I personally have received a lot of feedback about the governor's plan since yesterday, and I would keep in mind that she has used terminology in this plan that says Stage 2 contemplates revising the limitation with appropriate safety precautions, capacity limits. I mean, there's a lot of language in this plan that says that it is ever evolving. We know over the past month that things change dramatically from one day to the next, sometimes from 1 minute to the next. We all know that the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. Our responsibility and goal is to make a plan and continue to be flexible and adapt our plan as the environment dictates. All stages are dependent upon the scientific evidence and tracking of the virus continuing to show positive improvement. The stages depend on the public, employers, and the business community maintaining the standards and introducing new measures which need to be maintained for the long haul. Remember that this is a marathon, and the race isn't over until a vaccine is in place. Our diligence, our behaviors have the opportunity to make a positive or negative impact in the future. Town staff, officials, business owners, and committee members are all working on our reentry plans to balance public health and safety with our need for providing essential services. Our Board of Selectmen will see these draft plans at their next scheduled meeting in May, and I really want to take a moment to thank everyone who is working diligently on these strategies, whether it is our local business community, our local officials, or our town staff. Everyone is doing a terrific job at putting together a plan that has never been created before. One thing that we know that will be impacted this summer is large gatherings. One that always marks the start of our summer season is the Memorial Day Parade. The American Legion let me know this week that they will not be having a parade this year. We need to abide by the governor's orders, and we are concerned for the health and welfare of our veterans and the general public. I am working with the Legion to see if we might be able to broadcast a wreath-laying ceremony for the public to watch safely at home. Stay tuned for more information on that in the weeks ahead. I'd like at this point to turn it over to Allison Kennebunkport.
Good afternoon. I'm Allison Kennebunkport, the Kennebunkport Public Health Director, and I hope this all finds you healthy and safe. And sure has been a long quarantine, and I'm getting a little itchy to get back out to the normal state that we know, or if we'll ever know what that is. I feel like we're in a holding pattern. As government takes steps to reopen businesses and slowly lifts all the restrictions, it will take some time. We will still need to be cautious. We are living in an uncharted territory, and we don't really know what to expect. We will see more spread of COVID-19. Most likely we will. I think the best thing we can do is just be cautious, be vigilant, be safe. We know that by keeping our distance from people and avoiding crowds, washing our hands many times throughout the day with soap and water and hand sanitizer, not touching our faces, washing frequently touched surfaces, has kept the majority of us healthy. We will need to continue to practice this as we have been in the past 6+ weeks. We need to continue to protect our vulnerable population, our elderly and people with medical conditions. Take extra care to wash our hands and cover our coughs, and stay home when you're sick, especially dealing with them, this population. We will need to continue to help them with shopping and errands. Be a good neighbor. Offer to help if you're going out. Give them a call and make sure they're okay. The CDC continues to suggest that we wear cloth masks when going out in public to grocery stores, pharmacies, etc. And remember, practice good hand washing techniques forever. I think we'll be always doing this. I believe this is our new way of life until the vaccine is developed, tested, and then distributed to people. This may be a year from now, but we really don't know. Everything we've talked about in our past announcements are currently continuing. 211 and the crisis hotline will still be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for those who need assistance or extra support. 1-888-568-1112 is the crisis hotline. Remember, we're all in this together, and reach out to someone if you need help. Community Outreach Services continues to host food pantries twice a week, Tuesdays at 5 and Fridays at 9. It's a first come, first serve, drive up and pick up until the food is gone. And as for families in need, you can still call your town's General Assistance Office to request a food box. For Kennebunkport, it's 967-4401. And I still have volunteers that can help shop for seniors and medically fragile patients. Please call the Public Health Office for details, 967-4401. A new offering that's started this week through the Public Health, Kennebunkport Parks and Rec, and Southern Maine Area Agency on Aging. We're offering prepared frozen meals, 3 for $10, and that's for 60-plus-year-old people, and you call 207-604-0178, and today is actually the deadline for the first round. So call that number today to sign up, and then Friday, May 1st, between 11:30 and 12:30 at the Parks and Rec building, you can pick up those meals. There's also a delivery that if you can't make it to the pickup, we can help get it to you. Please check out the town website for more information. It's all listed there. This is a work in progress, and I believe that there will be more opportunities for this option. This is just the first one that we're trying out this week. And I also wanted to make a plug for Graves Library. They are still closed to the public, but they are working behind closed doors to provide offerings to our community. Mary Lou just wanted me to share how to access their services. One, you can visit them online at graveslibrary.org. They have audiobooks and e-books. If you go to the Cloud Library on their homepage, you can check out all kinds of books that way. For educational articles, newspapers, homework help, medical assistance, book reviews, you can go to their digital library on their homepage. They have virtual story time for the little ones every Monday and Friday at 10 o'clock on their Facebook page, and Terry Tales takes place every Tuesday at 2. TEDEd.com is full of webinars with talks and lessons worth sharing for teachers and students all around the globe. Maine authors and illustrators are reading stories, offering drawing classes, and supplying coloring pages of their artworks for free. So if you call Graves Library, they will share a list and how to participate with those. 967-2778 is their number. They have free Wi-Fi, so if you need access, you can just pull into their parking lot. There's no password. If you have any special requests, and they are willing to fill orders for books, puzzles, magazines, audiobooks, and they will fill the order and leave it in a bag outside for you on their porch. And if you can't make it to the library, they will make arrangements to get it to your house. Thanks to Graves Library for providing continuous entertainment for us all. I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, Kennebunkport. I am Chief Craig Sanford, Police Department, and also your EMA Director. Yesterday, we received a guide for future activities from Governor Janet Mills. This stepped approach was developed with safety for all Maine citizens in mind. This direction has had opposing effects on many of us. Some feel that it is too soon, and some feel that the changes are not enough. No matter your opinion, it is what we have been given, and it is what the emergency services of Kennebunkport will support and enforce. One of those in the new guidelines, one of those first changes that will affect most of us, if not all of us, is the requirement for all Maine people to wear some type of a cloth covering over the face, which includes the mouth, nose, in public settings where physical distancing measures are difficult to maintain. So what does that mean? If I'm going to go to a business where others can reasonably be expected to be on location, you need to wear a face covering to protect you and others. If I'm going to a public park or a trail, and there are others that are possibly going to be in the area, and it may be difficult for me to maintain that 6-foot distancing, I should have a face covering with me so I can quickly put it on if I need to. It's important for all of us to maintain those requirements. The easiest thing you can do is just to keep a face covering with you. Get used to it. It'll probably be that way for many days to come. So if you have one with you, no matter where you are, and you can quickly put it on, it will avoid a lot of issues. The next important topic is the new guidelines is the continued requirement for the 14-day mandatory quarantine upon returning to Maine. We continually receive phone calls of folks that are concerned over this issue but do not want to get involved. As with most police work and enforcement, if we do not have someone to rely on as a witness, our ability to enforce a rule, regulation, or law is limited. If you are going to complain or have an issue about someone that may not be following the quarantine and want to remain anonymous, understand that the best we most likely will be able to do is to speak with the folks and remind them of the quarantine mandatory quarantine. We are still seeing an increase in vehicle speed, and I'm going to direct my officers to spend more time on this in hopes to slow folks down. As we approach the warmer days ahead, start thinking about those large events we normally have had in years past, and how we may need to alter those traditions to include their cancellations so as to keep others safe. All emergency services are functioning and are ready to serve when needed. Continue the path of patience, understanding, and safety. We all are doing the best we can. Be safe.
Thank you, Chief Sanford and Allison. I want to let you know that there is some good news out there, and Kennebunkport is very fortunate to be celebrating our 42nd year as a Tree City USA. Our community has had a long-standing tradition of supporting trees and their importance and culture in our community. If you would like to celebrate Arbor Day, those normal things that we do will not be happening, but you can certainly still plant a tree. You can plant a garden. Our Shade Tree Committee is hoping that you will continue throughout the month of May to celebrate Tree City USA status. And if you're looking for other ideas or things to do with kids, you can go to the website of the Arbor Day, which is celebratearborday.com. So hopefully you will participate in that and be thankful for all the trees we have in our community. I wanted you to know that as we continue through the reopening phase, that we should all be prepared for fluidity in our plan. There may be days where we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I am in continued contact with the managers in York and Cumberland counties, as well as those in coastal New Hampshire. We are doing our best to share information and coordinate plans. I understand that the New Hampshire governor will be having a press conference today as well. As I stated before, this is complicated and uncharted territory. For those reasons, please continue to be patient with us as we make decisions with the best information we have available at that moment. Things will continue to change, and we will do our best to change course in a prudent and effective manner. Be well and be safe.